Hello guys, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with Unit 13, that is Business Forecasting. So, objectives of these chapters are, after completion of this unit, you should be able to realize that forecasting is a scientific discipline unlike ad hoc predictions, and appreciate the forecasting is essential for a variety of planning decisions. Become aware of forecasting methods for long, medium and short term decision. Use moving averages and exponential smoothing for demand forecasting. Understand the concept of forecast control and use the moving range chart to monitor a forecasting system. And the structure of this unit are, there is an introduction part and forecasting for long term decisions, forecasting for medium and short term decision, forecast control, summary, self assessment exercises, and keywords are there for the reading also there. So let's begin with the introduction part. Data on demand of the market may be needed for a number of purposes to assist an organization in its long-term, medium and short-term decision. Forecasting is essential for a number of planning decisions and often provide a valuable input on which future operations of the business enterprise depend. Some of the area where forecast of future product demand would be useful are indicated below. Specification of production target as functions of time and planning equipment and manpower usage as well as additional procurement, budget allocation depending on the level of production and sales, determination of the best inventory policy, decisions on expansion and major changes in production process and method, future trends of product development, diversification, scrapping, etc. Design of suitable pricing policy, planning the method of distribution and sales promotion. It is thus clear that the forecast of demand of products serve as a vital input for a number of important decisions, and it is therefore necessary to adopt a systematic and rational methodology for generating reliable forecast. The uncertain future. The future is inherently uncertain, and since time immemorial, man has made attempt to unravel the mystery of the future. In the past, it was the crystal gazer or a person allegedly in possession of some supernatural powers who would make prediction about the things to be major events or the rise and fall of king. In today's world, predictions are being made daily in the realm of business, industry, and politics. Since the operation of any capital enterprises has a large lead time, that is 1 to 5 years is typical. It is clear that a factory conceived today is more for some future demand, and the whole operation is dependent on the actual demand coming up to the level projected much earlier. During this period, many circumstances which might not even have been imagined could come up. For instance, there could be development of other industries or a major technological breakthrough that may render the originally conceived product obsolete, and or a social upheaval and change of government may redefine and prioritize of growth and development, or an unusual weather condition like a drought or floods may alter completely the buying potential of the originally conceived market. This is only a partial list to suggest how uncertainties from a variety of sources can enter to make the task of prediction of the future extremely difficult. It is proper at this stage to emphasize the distinction between prediction and forecasting. Forecasting generally refers to the scientific methodology that often uses past data along with some well defined assumption or model to come up with a forecast of future demand. In that sense, forecasting is objective. A prediction is a subjective estimate made by an individual by using his intuitive hunch, which may in fact come out true. But the fact that it is subjective, that is as a prediction may be different from B's and C's. Okay, and this is a non-reliable as well documented computer program and deprives it of much value. And the future is inherently uncertain, and any forecast at best is a educated guess with no guarantee of coming true. In certain purely deterministic system and unequivocal relationship, and between cause and effect has been clearly established, and it is possible to predict very accurately the course of event in the future once the future pattern of causes are inferred from past behavior. Economic system, however, are more complex because there is a large number of governing factors in the complex structural framework which may not be possible to identify, and the individual factors themselves have a high degree of variability and uncertainty. The demand for a particular product would depend on competitors, price, advertising campaign, weather condition, population, and a number of factors which might even be difficult to identify. In spite of these complexities, a forecast has to be made so that the manufacturers of umbrella, a product which exhibited seasonal demand, can plan for the next season. And forecasting for planning decision, the primary purpose of forecasting is to provide valuable information for planning the design and operation of the enterprise. Planning decision may be classified as long term, medium term, and short term. The long-term decision include decision like a plan expansion or new product introduction which may require a new technologies or a complete transformation in social or moral fabric of society. Such a decisions are generally characterized by lack of quantitative information and absence of historical data on which to base the forecast of future events. Intuition and the collected opinion of expert in the field generally play a significant role in developing forecast for such decision. Some methods used in forecasting for long-term decision are discussed in section 13.2. And a medium term decision involved such a decision as planning the production level in the manufacturing plant over the next year, determining of manpower requirement or inventory policy for the same. Short term decision include daily production planning and scheduling decision. For both medium and short term forecasting, many methods and techniques exist. These methods can broadly be classified as follows: subjective of intuitive method, methods based on averaging of past data including simple, weighted and moving average, regression models on historical data, casual or econometric models, time series analysis or stochastic model. And these models are briefly reviewed in section 13.3, and a more detailed discussion on correlation, regression and time series model is taken up in the next 3 unit also. Okay. And next is forecasting for long term decision. Technological forecasting. Technological forecasting growth is often hazardous, and especially in developing countries like India. This is because technology seldom evolves and there are frequent technology transfer due to imports of know-how, resulting in a leapfrogging phenomenon. In spite of this, it is generally seen that logarithms of many technological variables show linear trends with the time, showing exponential growth. Some extrapolation are reported by Rothagi et al. Passenger kilometer carried by Indian Airline, that is here figure 1 is here, and the fertilizers applied per hectares of cropped area, figure 2, demand and supply of petroleum crude installed by capacity of electricity generation in million of kW, that is on figure 4. So here is the chart based figures are here 1, 2. This is demand and supply of petroleum crude, and here is fourth one is installed capacity of electricity generation in million kW. Okay. And the use of S-curve in forecasting technology growth is also common. Rather than implying unchecked growth, there is a limit to growth. Thus, the growth rate of technology is slow to begin with. It reaches a maximum and finally decline till the technology becomes obsolete and is replaced by a newer alternatives. And some example of use of S-curve as reported by Rothagi et al. And hydroelectric power generation using Gumser's growth curve. Also, so here is that is the growth curve of hydroelectric power generation, and the next one is number of village electrified using Pearl type growth curve. Okay, these are these growth. Two chart is here, two figure is here. So these are the Pearl type growth curve also, Gumser's growth curve also here. And Delphi. This is a subjective method of relying on the opinion of experts designed to minimum bias and error of judgment. A Delphi panel consists of a number of experts with an impartial leader or coordinator who organizes the questions and a specific question, that is rather than general opinion with yes or no or multiple type answers, or specific data, dates or events are sought from the expert. For instance, question could be of the following kind. So here is the question related to that. A summary of the response of the participants is sent to each expert participating in the Delphi panel after a statistical analysis. For a forecast of when an event is likely to happen, the most optimistic and pessimistic estimate along with the distribution of other response is given to the participants. And the method is very efficient if properly conducted, as it provides a systematic framework for collecting expert opinion by virtue of anonymity, statistical analysis and feedback of result, and provision for forecast revision. Result obtained are free of bias and generally reliable. Obviously, the background of the experts and their knowledge of the field is crucial. This is where the role of the coordinator in identifying the proper expert is important. And opinion polls. Opinion polls are a very common method of gaining knowledge about consumer taste, responses to a new product, popularity of a person or leader, reaction to an election result, or the likely future prime minister after the impending polls. In any opinion poll, two things are of primary importance. First, the information that is sought, and secondly, the target population from whom the information is sought. Both these factors must be kept in mind while designing the appropriate mechanism for conducting the opinion poll. Opinion polls may be conducted through personal interviews, circulation of questionnaire, meetings in group, and conference, seminars, and symposia. The method adopted depends largely on the population, the kind of information desired, and the budget available. For instance, if information from a very large number of people is to be collected, a suitably designed questionnaire could be mailed to the people concerned, and design a proper questionnaire is itself a major task. And for example, the final analysis could be summarized by saying 80% of the population expressed opinion A, 10% expressed opinion B, 5% expressed opinion C, and 5 expressed no opinion. Okay, so this is the methods. And the major advantage of opinion polls lies in the fact that a well-formed opinion considers the multifarious subjective and objective factors which may not even be possible to enumerate explicitly, and yet they may have a bearing on the concerned forecast or question. Moreover, the aggregation of opinion polls tended to eliminate the bias that is bound to be present in any subjective human evaluation, and in fact for long-term decision opinions, polls of opinion of the expert constitute a very reliable method for forecasting and planning. So this is about today's session, and next section of unit 13 we will discuss on next video. For more MBA Ignou sessions, you just do like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.
i-tutor Academy presents Ignou MBA complete syllabus coverage classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online and flexible timing. For more details, contact on +916 238 21785.